In the SEC, number 14 Arkansas against number 3 Alabama, a matchup of the SEC's best offense against the SEC's best defense. And for more on this game, the thoughts by head coach Nick Saban of Alabama.
It's certainly a challenge. They're probably as good a passing team as there is in the country, and certainly have the right kind of players to do it. They're very well coached. They have a very good system and scheme. And, you know, each and every year, this is a very challenging game for the defense. You know, how you're going to affect the quarterback, how you're going to pressure the quarterback, how you're going to cover their guys. This is a lot like pro football. This is what you get ready for every week. They want to start fast, and, you know, they're going to challenge you vertically down the field as well as, you know, get everybody running and send somebody across and hit them on the run. And every mistake that you make in pass defense, you have a little bit of an issue with in terms of getting them covered.
All right, DDI, we'll start with you on this one. Alabama, Arkansas, you just heard from head coach Nick Saban. This offense for Arkansas, what kind of trouble does it present for the defense for Alabama?
Well, Bobby Petrino knows how to throw the ball vertically down the field. He will challenge you in the back half of your defense. But the one thing that they can't, I don't know if they can run the ball against Alabama. If you're one-dimensional against Alabama, the strength of their defense, their defensive line, linebacker and Hightower, Barron at safety, all three levels, once again, one of the best defenses that year in, year out they are. Next to LSU, I think LSU might be just as good, but Alabama's cream of the crop right now.
When you look at an offense as a defensive coach, you love one-dimensional because you can game plan all week for that. No, they can't run the football. They haven't run it all season. They're definitely not going to do it against Alabama. But when you take a team like that that's living and dying by the pass, and you let that Alabama defense understand what they're up against for 5 straight days of practice, they're going to pin their ears back, and they're going to come after the quarterback.
I think the thing that Nick Saban loves the most is knowing where the quarterback's going to be. You talk to any coach in college football right now, the one thing they don't want to face is any option principles, a quarterback they've got to account for in terms of his legs. If they know where Tyler Wilson's going to be, he would prefer to be able to do that, match up on the perimeter, as we talked about with LSU and West Virginia. Alabama's capable of doing that with Arkansas, and knowing where the quarterback's going to be, knowing that you don't have that constant threat of him escaping out of the pocket and doing something with his legs. Nick Saban, I believe, would prefer it to be this way.
Well, if you've got 5 stud wide receivers, the defense knows all we have to do is get to one guy, the quarterback.
There's 9 pro prospects on that Alabama defense. They're ranked 3rd in the nation. There's 3 potential first rounders. This is a pro defense.
Sure.
They can play against this style of passing attack, and they will run the ball. The other thing, we haven't talked about this, they will run the football offensively to take time off the clock. Richardson and Lacey, both are averaging over 100 yards a game. They're going to run the ball against Arkansas, shorten the game.
Right, you look at Trent Richardson, and like you said, their ability to run the football and dictate and eliminate some of those possessions by Arkansas could be a factor in the game.
Big game for A.J. McCarron, the Alabama quarterback. He went up to Penn State, played well. I think he's got to step up, make some plays. Coach, I agree with you. He's the kind of guy Saban likes. He manages the game. Don't make mistakes. Don't put my defense in bad positions. I still think he's got to step up, make some throws to keep defenses honest.
I do agree with you. I'll say I don't think there's ever a team that can win a national championship with a quarterback who can just manage the game. You got to make throws.
What's something that you need to know among those matchups today, Dave?
With the Alabama hosting Arkansas game, I need to see what can the Hogs do to stop that relentless rushing attack of Alabama. Last year was Trent Richardson and Mark Ingram. This year, Trent Richardson and Ed Lacey. You know what? I expect the Razorbacks to do a little something to their defensive front to slow Alabama's rushing attack today. So watch what they do to their front 4.
And speaking of the SEC, let's talk about 2 teams undefeated in the Southeastern Conference. Arkansas visiting Tuscaloosa as you take a look at Bryant-Denny Stadium. Toughest test for Alabama right now, and Arkansas saying, you know, Alabama may be their biggest hurdle of this season. And for Alabama, their running back Trent Richardson, he's been waiting for his shot, you know, with Mark Ingram there over the past 2 years, and now he's the guy. And we bring in Todd McShay for more on this. Now that it is Trent Richardson's time, what do you see out of him, Todd?
Well, Aaron, when I look at this tandem, really, of Trent Richardson and Eddie Lacey, the backup, it reminds me a lot of when Richardson was a freshman back in 2009 when Alabama made that run at the national title. He was backing up the Heisman winner, Mark Ingram, and did a great job coming in with fresh legs and also of catching the ball and the versatility. We're going to see here on the Home Depot college coaches playbook some of the traits that make Richardson so special in the developmental process he's gone through. There you see him see the crease. Look at the sharp angle that he makes. That's the a plant and acceleration. Then he feels his blocker coming from the right side, makes the cut. Great open field vision for a bigger back. Now, on the right side of the line has not been great this year. Here you see they do a decent job of blocking down, but watch the vision and that feel for the crease. We're going to rewind this play. The other aspect of it, the double cut. Look at this lateral agility. The first cut, then right back to the inside. Not many backs in the country can make that. Now, after Richardson's been pounding away at this defense for a few quarters, they're sick and tired of being the crash test dummies. In comes Lacy. All 242 pounds of him. You see the pursuit angles are different with the fresh legs that he brings and the fact that he's able to just drive through potential tacklers. I think this tandem right now is the best in college football in terms of a two-headed monster at running back. And I think while the offensive line has to improve and the quarterback, A.J. McCarron, has to show that he can make those big throws against man coverage, this is a great jumping off point for Nick Saban in this offense for Alabama.
Yeah, and the curious part about this offense too, Todd, is that we've talked about it. It's more about wearing the opponent down. In the past, I feel like they didn't have to do that. They were good enough physically up front to manhandle somebody and get Richardson, get Ingram some space. So one thing to look forward to moving forward, before last week he was only averaging about 3-something yards a carry. Can they get better blocking by the offensive line? That's not something we're used to saying when we talk about an Alabama physical offensive line.
All right, staying on this matchup, Todd, let me ask you, what is the one player you think will make the biggest difference for Arkansas today?
Well, the one player that needs to make the biggest difference if Arkansas is going to have any chance of winning this game is Tyler Wilson. You could point to the running game because obviously you'd like to have balance against Alabama, but ultimately Ryan Mallett a year ago in that game, they had Alabama on the ropes and then the 3 interceptions late in the second quarter and in the second half. Tyler Wilson cannot make those same mistakes. He did last week against Troy, had some errant throws, had a pick 6 in the second half. He's got to play better to give Arkansas a chance, David, I think, in this afternoon's game.
And Greg Childs being banged up the past couple of weeks, I think it's got to be Joe Adams. He's got to step up. He's a guy that's already returned 2 punts to the house. Dynamic playmaker in space. They like to use him with quick passes, see if he can break a tackle, shake somebody, and take it to the house. So he's going to have a big day, especially after the catch and in punt return situations.
Alabama has won 19 consecutive SEC openers. Now they get Arkansas. Arkansas heads to take on Alabama. Coach, take your pick.
You're wrong. It's 20 SEC openers after Alabama wins. Alabama is so good on defense. They are in the top 4 in every defensive statistic that you can mention. And playing at home, they're 22-1 in their last 23 games. And during that time, only twice has a team scored more than 20 points on Alabama. That's impressive.
Childs, Hamilton, Adams, and Wright. It's not a law firm. Those are the wide receivers from Arkansas, and they are spectacular, and in this game they will be spectacular. They will put a tremendous amount of pressure on the Alabama defense. This will be the best receiving core that they face the entire season. And how about this? This is an Arkansas team last year that had them down 20-7. They lost 24-20. They'll find a way to win this game. I'm going with the upset.
How about Arkansas at Alabama? Look at number 20, running back Ronnie Wingo. Ran very hard last week with his first 100-yard output of the season versus Troy. He's also a very reliable receiver out of the backfield.
They were partying like crazy last year in Fayetteville for 3 quarters until Alabama rallied to break their hearts with a couple of late interceptions against Ryan Mallett. Today is the SEC opener for the Crimson Tide. They've won 19 in a row. If Arkansas can pull the road upset, they can really spark a special season for them. They have to do it, though, without one of their top defenders. Jake Paquette, the defensive end, out today with a hamstring. The marquee matchup, Bobby Petrino's offense against Nick Saban and Kirby Smart's defense. Edge so far in recent years to Saban. Arkansas averaging under 14 points a game with Petrino there against Saban's defense. They're deep, they're talented. They got 7 guys that are on the draft board as first or second round picks. Almost half of their opponents go 3 and out. It's ridiculous. They've allowed 18 points and 510 yards into 3 games. But Arkansas, they bring some weapons. Tyler Wilson, his first SEC start on the road, no less. He's been sacked 7 times. Got to protect him better. Got to get Ronnie Wingo going. Niall Davis out for the year, so it's up to Wingo and Dennis Johnson to get some productivity on the ground. The receivers are finally getting healthier. There's Kobe Hamilton who's been picking up the slack with Greg Childs, still slowed by a knee. He's better today. Joe Adams, Jarius Wright, who hasn't practiced a lot, but he's probable today with the knee. So the promising sign for Arkansas. They're getting their weapons back for Tyler Wilson if he can be a mistake-free distributor against all that talent and all that atmosphere in Tuscaloosa.
But I'm glad you showed all that talent because they have the weapons and the team that can be able to go in here offensively and compete. You had all that experience and all that talent around Tyler Wilson and Bobby Petrino's ability to call plays and design plays to be able to attack Nick Saban's defense. Arkansas feels they have a chance to be able to execute, but at the end of the day, it's going to come down to Tyler Wilson and whether or not he's going to be able to settle in on the road and be able to make a play. Let's take a closer look at Tyler Wilson in the year of the quarterback, brought to you by Degree Men. First thing he brings to the table is accuracy. Now, this is against Auburn last year. He didn't start the game, but he came in to play the game. The accuracy downfield as he recognizes man-to-man coverage and finds Wingo manned up against the linebacker, gets it to him downfield. The arm strength to be able to push the ball, drive the ball down inside the teeth of the defense and be able to make that vertical throw between the safeties to Joe Adams. Great throw there. You know, he's 25 for 34, by the way, against Auburn last year on the road. And this is the thing all coaches want to see. Does he have the toughness to sit in there? The Auburn players coming in about to lower the boom. He's able to sit in there, make the throw. Relies on his man Childs to make the play to be able to come up with a catch, but he showed the willingness to be in there, and I think that's a big thing. So Tyler Wilson has what it takes. The problem is he's on the road, and he's going up against this defense. Now, we understand Bama played Penn State and North Texas, but these numbers are impressive. The third line down, 3 and outs, you realize that they have forced nearly 50% of the downs that they have faced 3 and outs. So the opponent has not been out on the field very long before they're heading to the sideline. I really think that the weapons are there, the coaching is there, Tyler Wilson has the ability. The difference in this game, the offensive line. 3 new offensive linemen, including a true freshman at left tackle. They've already allowed 7 sacks. Alabama will get Wilson into 3rd and medium, 3rd and long, and that's when the creativity, the multiple looks comes in. They'll get after Wilson, force the mistakes, get the ball back to Bama. Bama wins this one at home.
I agree with that. I think Alabama will win this game, but for Arkansas to have a chance, their defense is going to have to play lights out. It's going to start with their front. I think in this game, they're going to use a 5-man front to try to control Alabama's running game. They're going to have 2 defensive ends, 2 defensive tackles, and a nose guard. What that does in this situation, it kind of clogs the running lanes. This is when they used it last year against Mark Ingram in Alabama. They used it earlier this season, too, to show it, put it on tape. Right here in this play, the natural seams that are created from a 3- and 4-man front, they're eliminated. And another fact, when you have the big bodies up front, they can take away those guards coming out on the linebackers. Watch that number 34, shoots the gap right here and makes the tackle at the line of scrimmage. That's going to be key for Arkansas's defense in today's matchup. That 5-man front trying to control the line of scrimmage. Even if they don't make the play, they can have their linebackers shoot the gaps and then make tackles in the backfield at the line of scrimmage.
Desmond, that's a good point. I tell you, Arkansas has a shot at Alabama, especially if they continue to start fast. They outscored their opponents 84-10 in the first half. They also averaged 47 points a game. But the problem is Alabama is number 1 on defense. And when in doubt, go with defense. Alabama wins this one, but closer than the experts think. I don't think he can score a lot. So experts closer than the experts think.
They haven't been explosive yet. They use short fields to get touchdown drives against Penn State. I mean, let's forget the North Texas game against quality opposition. So a close game, huh?
Yeah.
I like what you say. Courtney Upshaw, Dante Hightower, they were watching tape, and they saw that old true freshman Mitch Smothers up there. And they said when they see him, boom, load up on that side.
He's a future All-American, but the reality is he's still a true freshman.
Exactly.
I mean, he's a great player. Protecting the blind side is an issue for Tyler Wilson.
Can Arkansas pull the big upset in Tuscaloosa against the Crimson Tide?
No. Alabama's forced to punt 48% of the time on defense. And Nick Saban's from right down the road in Monongah, so I got to go for Alabama.
Yeah, that's a good angle.
That's the reason I'm picking Alabama.
Alabama's defense is the difference. They get after that young offensive line. Arkansas has a ton of skill, but that offensive line's not ready for what they're going to face today.
Given until earned, assigned until deserved. The number before the name, the rank. It's your place in the pecking order and your spot in the pile. Win, rise, or remain. Lose, tumble, or plunge. But come kickoff, remember, we don't watch voters. We cheer players. Passion. That doesn't come in a poll. Rank that.
this one's going through the end zone. That's a 70-yard field goal. And it'll be a touchback, top of the screen. They'll try the sweep. Richardson has to cut it back inside. Brad Smelly tried.
Receivers that have made a lot of big plays for Alabama.
That was a gain of 17 on first down. Here's McCarron going left, drilled it, and it, whoa, boy, the helmet comes flying on the secondary hit. Ouch. Catch made by Darius Hanks. 8.5 to go, opening quarter from Tuscaloosa. Here's McCarron. Little quick screen out to the right side, and nothing doing on this one. As Greg Gatson, now it's third down. Wilson across the middle, caught. That's Greg Childs, number 85, now in for the Crimson Tide. Left side, Joe Adams tries to get to the right side, and the foot race is on. Wow. Adams, what a run after the catch. 7 of 7 after he missed the opening pass. Not perfect.
Whoa, gashed him.
Up the middle.
Gashed him.
Touchdown, Arkansas. Ronnie Wingo, 26 yards. Dennis Johnson alongside Wilson. 3rd and 11. Got it! First down. Razorbacks, Jarius Wright, number 4.
Yeah, Jarius Wright. See, here's the veteran receivers that Arkansas has. They've been through the wars, and they've played on the road in some big games. Wright, a beautiful pattern. Watch him start out.
On first down, here's Wingo going right, cutting back, breaking a tackle, and moving all the way out to the 33-yard line, just short of the first down. Wilson again popped, but he gets it complete into the hands of Ronnie Wingo, and Mark Barron finally forces him out of bounds.
Swinging outside from from his blind side, actually from his right side. He was looking left. From the right side, he gets hit just as he lets the ball go, and he's not holding it.
And of course, we've mentioned that Niall Davis, their wonderful running back, out for the year. Look at Wilson.
Man.
Wow.
That might be a touchdown. It is.
It is.
Oh, my goodness. Wait until you see how Wilson threw that ball. You do this as a quarterback. Catch first. Kobe. And watch as he lets the ball go. He just gets planted inside by Hubbard.
Adrian Hubbard. Wilson.
Want to just show Mitch Smothers. Remember, the game plan was to go after the freshman. Watch what he does on this play. He's at left tackle. He's got Upshaw, a big rusher. He takes on Upshaw, but it's a fake rush. Here comes Will Lowry. He handles Lowry on the play. That's a nice job by the freshman. Hubbard comes in, almost a helmet-to-helmet hit that time.
Sure was.
But look at that catch by Kobe Hamilton.
Fundraising efforts continue now to help the healing in this town. 2nd down, 7. Play action. Out of the backfield.
Well defended.
No, yeah, sure was. Well, Alabama seems to have this one in hand. But down the way, they got to play LSU here, and Arkansas is going to LSU at the end of the game.
Yeah, the possibility, I guess, could exist that all three beat each other. Everybody says that the West is loaded with Alabama, LSU. We've seen them. We know how good they are. We'll see them tonight against West Virginia. And then Arkansas plays late against LSU. Look at it, goes to the 7th tiebreaker. And then
3rd down. Mitchell toss around the end. It's Wingo, and he's got a first down. Mitchell, he's popped as he lets it go.
Completed it.
Yes, he did. At the 47 of Alabama, Joe Adams makes the catch. Another, it's Dante Hightower. Trent Richardson, 17 for 126. A.J. McCarron.